In this challenge, you're going to make a set of text look like it is old beaten up metal. So we're going to start with a new Photoshop file. The size of it is going to be 1024 pixels. Whoops, I should have changed that before. So 1024 pixels by 768. We'll have 300 pixels per inch for the resolution and a white background, and then we'll click create. We'll start off by setting our foreground color to 919191. It's kind of a grayish color, and the background color will be set to 493728, and it's kind of a brown color. We will use our gradient tool. Remember, your gradient tool is docked with your paint bucket, so it depends on what you used last. I'm going to turn my rulers on and find more or less the center of the page, which is right around here. So I'm above the middle, about 2/3 of the way up, and then I'm just going to drag down to a corner. Oops, I forgot to set it at radial, and then I'll try that again. There you go. Okay, now we have a file in the campus share drive that we need to get, and it is right here, Old Metal Texture, and we're embedding it when we place it. It should fill the screen or the document. Once we pull that in, I want to right click and rasterize that layer. That way we can do more to it. And we are going to use the layers panel and change the blend mode to multiply and the opacity to 70%, and that's allowing the gradient background and that image to work together now. So now what we're going to do is get our horizontal type tool, and we are going to make some setting changes. I want the font to be Poplar Standard Black, and the color is going to be 7B, 7B, 7B. We want it on centered, and we may have to adjust the font size as we go, but I will type old, and then I will hit enter and metal, and I'll put it up here about 95. And then I'm going to go to my character panel and adjust the leading, because you see all the space in between. So I'm going to take it off of auto, and I'm going to have it at about 73. Looks about right. And then I'm just going to move that down to the center of the document. All right. So now that we have that layer, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that text layer, so that we have two of them. And down here on the original text layer, I'm going to set the fill value right here to 0. And what that means is we can still apply effects to it, but the actual text itself won't be visible on this layer. So now I am going to come up here to the copy text layer, and I am going to apply a layer style. So this layer style is going to be a drop shadow. I want to reset to default here. That way I have everything at default, and I can just make the changes that I need. So the blend mode is multiply. The color is going to be 686868. The distance is going to be 0, spread 0, size is going to be 30. Okay, so you can see that drop shadow coming in there. Then we're going to add an inner shadow. and I'm again going to reset to default. The color here is going to be 634E38, and the distance 0 and the size 10. Oops, I didn't mean to click OK yet. All right, and then we're going to add an inner glow. I'm going to reset to default. The blend mode, we're going to change to luminosity. It's down at the bottom. The color here is going to be 786450, and the size will be 18. And then we will add a bevel and emboss, and again I'm going to reset to default. It's going to be an inner bevel. The technique is going to be chisel soft. Notice what that did around the edges on the text. The depth will be 250. The direction up, size 16, soften 0, angle is 90, altitude 30. We are going to uncheck the use global light. Down here in the gloss contour, we are going to choose notched slope. If you don't see notched slope, remember that you're going to have to come back, hit this little arrow and the gear shift, choose contours and append, and then you get more there. And now I should find my notched slope in there. The highlight mode is going to be overlay. The shadow mode, multiply, and the color in the shadow mode is going to be 7B, 7B, 7B. All right, then we need to check contour under the bevel and emboss, and we want the contour to be half round. Leave this unchecked, and the range is 50%. And then we can click OK on that because we have that set of text done. Now we want to go to the original layer where we made the fill 0, and we're going to add a layer style. This layer style is going to have a drop shadow, and it is going to need to be reset to default. We're going to change the color to 6D5B4A. Uncheck the global light. The angle will be a -170. The distance 10, and the size 25. Okay, and then we can hit OK on that layer because it's taken care of. Next, we're going to make a new layer that's going to be at the top, and this new layer is going to be called Texture. And we need to make a selection first, and so what we're going to do is we're going to Control and click on this T of the text layer, and that makes the marching ants around the text. It makes a selection. If we flip-flop the foreground and background color, we can then use the paint bucket to fill that text. Make sure you're on the texture layer, and that's what you have now. And once you have it filled, we are going to need to right-click on it and convert to a smart object so that we can keep the characteristics of this layer intact. So first we're going to go to Filter and Render and Fibers, and we're going to set the variance to 50 and the strength to 20 and click OK. And that's the first change we're making. Then we're going to go up to the filter menu again, and we're going to choose Filter Gallery. We're going to go to the Sketch area and choose Plaster. And we're going to set it at 22 and top and click OK. Then we're going to go back to the Filter Gallery, and we're going to go to Sketch and Chrome, and we're going to change the detail to 5 and the smoothness to 4 and click OK. And then finally we are going to go to Filter Gallery and Sketch, and this one is going to be note paper, and the settings will be 15 for the image balance, 10 for the graininess, and 8 for relief, and click OK. Then we're going to set the blend mode of this layer to multiply, and you can see the changes coming in. Alright, now let's go down to the bottom of our layers panel and find the Old Metal Texture. We're going to duplicate this layer, and we're going to move this new one up to the top. And remember, it has some opacity in it. That's why you can see the text through it. We want to Control-click on the T of the text layer again to get a selection. And then we're going to go up to the Old Metal Texture copy at the top. And we're going to apply a layer mask. That's this one right here, the rectangle with the circle in it. You can see that the white is what shows through, the black is what is hidden. Alright, then we're going to make another new layer at the top, and we're going to call it Shadow. And we need to move this layer down below the text right here, so it's going to be the third from the bottom. And we are going to set the blend mode on it to multiply and change the opacity to 70. We're going to get our brush tool, and we will need our brush panel, and we'll need to set the brush to soft round. The size will be 40, 1% hardness, and the spacing will be 1 as well. What we're going to do now is we are going to brush kind of some shadows. Make sure you're on that shadow layer below the text of each letter, and do it carefully. Don't rush. It looks a little odd at first, but we will make some more changes to it to make this work better. Okay, then we're going to go to the filter menu on that shadow layer, and we are going to go to Blur, Gaussian Blur, and we're just going to set it at about 8 pixels, and you can see how that really blends it in much better now. And I'm going to click OK on that. Then I am going to go up to the texture layer at the top, and I want to add a fill adjustment layer. Okay, that's the little circle with the white and the black. This one is going to be color balance, and with the color balance we're going to choose highlights,